Hey guys, what is up? It's Sydney. Today we are going to talk about something super exciting. It's a great way for you to make some fast money, some fast cash, and that is how to sell clothes to Plato's Closet. I put a little request out on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is @thriftingdebutante, so make sure you are following me on there. I love talking to my Instagram family. And I put this request out to see kind of what kind of videos you guys wanted to see, what you wanted to see on my YouTube channel. And inspired by style.posh asked about selling to Plato's Closet. If you sell there, please. This is really interesting because I actually used to work for Plato's Closet. Technically, I worked at Style Encore, which is owned by the same company as Plato's Closet. They're the same exact store. The only difference is that Style Encore mainly caters to an older, more mature audience, like business wear, business age, working women, and they only carry women's. They don't carry men's. Whereas Plato's Closet caters more towards juniors and teenagers, and they actually do sell men's clothing. So that's the main difference between the two. They're both owned by the same company, same store model, same business model, same policies, everything. So in this video, I'm going to give you some tips on how to make money and how to sell your items to Plato's Closet. Before we get into it, I just wanted to say a quick thank you to those of you from my Posh Boss HQ group who have signed up for my 30 days to consistency challenge that is happening technically next week. We're going to start a little pre-challenge next week, and then we are going to go through December. So if you want details on that, if you want to make consistent sales on Poshmark, definitely send me an email. It's poshbosshelp@gmail.com. Now we're gonna go straight into the video. Okay, so the first thing I have to tell you is probably the most important in making sure that they are going to buy your items. And that is making sure that your items are clean. You want to make sure that everything that you take to sell to Plato's Closet is clean, freshly laundered. If it shows any sort of like dirty or hasn't been washed, they are not going to take it. The reason for this is when you take stuff into Plato's Closet and you give it to them to go through and buy things, after you leave, after you've confirmed the buy, they've paid you, you're gone, they take that stuff, they put tags on it, and they put it directly onto the sales floor. There is no in between. It's very quick. They are not going to buy anything from you that needs to be worked on, that needs to be washed, or anything like that. So you need to make sure that everything that you take to them is already clean and ready to go, ready to sell. So that is going to make your stuff more likely to be bought by them. If your stuff is not clean, they are going to hand it right back to you, and they're going to say, "I'm sorry, can you please take this home and wash this and then bring it back," if it's something that they're interested in buying. So my next tip is to make sure they are current styles and trends. And as of lately, this does not necessarily mean that they have to be like current items or like within the last season. For example, the vintage 90s look, that is stuff that they very much want. So if you have, you know, the high-waisted jeans, stuff like that, you can absolutely still take those into Plato's Closet, regardless of if, you know, that's something that you have currently bought or if it's an actual vintage item. You can still take it to them. There's absolutely no guarantee that they're gonna buy it, but, you know, don't limit yourself to just stuff that, you know, you bought within the last month or so. You don't want to like limit yourself at all in this, but you do want to make sure that the stuff you're taking is currently in style and on trend. If, you know, you need help trying to figure out like what's considered current, follow fashion bloggers on Instagram. Look at what they're wearing, and then go to your closet and see if you have anything that looks similar that you could sell to Plato's Closet. But, you know, don't limit yourself. If it's questionable, still put it in there. The worst that could happen is they're going to tell you no. Next, go into the store and ask them if they have a flyer of brands that they are buying. You need to learn which brands that Plato's Closet is currently buying. These will vary based on trends, based on seasons, based on demand. You need to, you know, really learn what they are looking for. So go to the store and ask them if they have some sort of a piece of paper, some sort of flyer that lists what they are buying, and get one, and then take it home and go to your closet and see if you have any of the brands that are listed on the flyer. My next tip: follow them on social media. They are constantly, and you know, follow your local one. Make sure you're following your local one. All of them are franchises and they're individually owned. So they all have their own individual social media accounts. So make sure that you are following them on social media. Pay attention to their posts, pay attention to what they're asking for. You know, a lot of times they'll be low on something and they'll post it on social media saying, hey, we're low on plus size clothing. And then if you have any plus size clothing in your closet, go take it to them, because they're gonna be way more likely to buy it if they have posted on social media that they are looking for these items. So make sure you're following them, make sure you're paying attention to what they are actually looking for and what they are actually buying at that time. My next tip: sign up for their email list. They all have their own individual email list, so you need to make sure that you go to, you know, your local Plato's Closet's website and sign up for the Plato's Closet that is local to you, so that you will be getting their emails, because a lot of times they will send out emails asking for stuff, asking for people to bring stuff in, saying, you know, what they're currently buying, what brands they're buying, promotions, things like that. So you want to be on that email list so that you really know, you know, what they're looking for and what they're going to be more likely to buy from you. My next tip is to pay attention to the seasons. If it is starting to get to be a time where the seasons are starting to transition, they are going to start buying more of the season that's coming up. They're always buying stuff all year round, but if you have another season that's about to come up, like say, you know, right around back to school time is when they're gonna start buying winter stuff. So you wanna really pay attention to the seasons and what season it's about to be, because that's gonna be when they're gonna need the most of those items. So if it's about to be winter, you know, you need to gather up your fall and winter stuff and you need to take it over there. During the summer, take your fall stuff over there, because they're, you know, buying for that back to school time. And then when winter comes, take your spring stuff. And then, you know, they have to buy stuff ahead of when they actually have to sell it. That's very important. So, you know, whatever is the next season coming up is probably gonna be the items that they're looking to buy right then. My next tip for you is to pay attention to the kinds of items that you're taking. There are always going to be items that are going to be a little bit more in demand than others, specifically jeans, shoes, jackets, things like that. You know, really wardrobe staple items that they can sell year round. So if you have more of those types of items, gather those up and take them over to Plato's Closet, because those are items that they can buy year round. My next tip for you is to take a lot of items with you. You know, don't just take them like 5 or 6 things, because that really lowers your chances. First of all, you're not gonna get them a lot of money for 5 or 6 things. Next, you really, you know, you have to take it over there. You have to make the trip over there. You have to, you know, fill out the paper. You wanna make this worth your time and worth their time. So, you know, wait until you have a good little bit of stuff, like at least a bag full or a hamper full of stuff before you go over there. It's really, you know, kind of not worth the trip over there if you only have a couple of things. So, you know, try to gather up as much as possible before you head over there to try to get them to buy from you. My next piece of advice for you is something that I saw a lot while I was working there. And people get really frustrated when they don't buy your items. So if you get to the end of this and you've taken items in and, you know, they didn't buy any, or they didn't buy as much as you were thinking they would, try not to take it personally, because literally the employees, the people who are buying stuff, they literally type it into the computer, and the company has all sorts of items that they buy and all these policies in place. It's really not the employee's fault if they can't buy your items. So please try not to take it personally, and try not to take it out on the employees, because the employee really just works for the company, and they're just trying to do their job. You know, they're paid hourly and they're just trying to do their job and follow the policy. So don't get angry with them. One tip I have for you, if they do have items that they didn't buy, maybe take them to a different store. So if you have some stuff that Plato's Closet didn't buy, try taking it over to Style Encore. And then if you take it to a couple different places and they don't buy it, you know, here I know if you take stuff to Goodwill and donate it, they will actually give you one, a tax write-off, and then two, they'll give you a 10% off coupon. So, you know, at least you would get something for your items, or you can try selling them online yourself. So these are my tips for you. I hope they were helpful in, you know, helping you to make some extra money, to kind of know and understand how Plato's Closet really works. And I hope that you will try it out, try to make some extra money selling stuff to them. It really is a great way to get some fast cash, so especially on stuff that you just want rid of anyway. So if you like Plato's Closet, make sure you're subscribed. I actually do have a Plato's Closet haul coming up from where I went to their 90% off sale and bought some stuff. So if you like those kinds of videos, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.